Hello, my Nile citizens, and welcome to Nyle Science. Today, we are going to be learning about how penicillin was first discovered. So, this scientist back in the 1900s wanted to go to went to St. Mary's hospital and trained to be a doctor. He went into physician, and his office was really messy. He had a rotted pizza, rotted apples, rotted stuff, and a plate with his snot on it. It sounds nasty, but his snot and all those moldy apples and stuff were actually important, and that's how we have antibiotics today. So, when we mean by penicillin, when you get a headache or get sick, they'll often give you a medicine, and that is penicillin, made by mold. How penicillin was made was from mold, and now we call it penicillin mold, is what we call it. It's just regular mold, but we use it for penicillin, so it's called penicillin mold, aka regular mold. So, Fleming came back to his office, and his snot had mold all over it from that mold that got onto it, and it ate, and it killed every single one of the bacteria that was in his snot. So, he ran to his fellow scientists, and told them that he just discovered an antibiotic and it could probably work. So, he and his fellow scientists, didn't think it'd work, and they just laughed at him. So they just laughed at him, and then about 10 years later, Flemington made the person who found penicillin. He made a book about how to make penicillin, and nobody still believed him at this time. And a guy that makes medicine, this is the first antibiotic. Yeah, he thought that this was a good idea, and he started making penicillin, and this was the first antibiotic, aka medicine, ever. So that's how they found penicillin. So next, we're going to continue our talk about physical and chemical changes. So about 2 months ago, exactly, we talking about physical and chemical changes. So when water gets onto rust, what does it do? Type down in the comments if you can, but if not, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to write down on a piece of paper what does water do to rust. Does to iron. You are correct. It is rust. When water goes onto metal, it creates this molecule or chemical called iron peroxide or oxide. So, when we talk about this, so say your bicycle, you left it out into the yard, and your mother told you to put it up because of little rust, and you said, and then the little kid, aka we're gonna call him little Gerald, didn't believe him. His mother. So he left his bike out there, and his mother said, "Little Gerald, did you put your bike up?" Little Gerald said, "Yeah, Mommy." Telling lies? No, Mama. Okay. So, the next day it rained overnight, and the next day he wanted to ride his bike. He couldn't because his chains and his bike was rusty. And his mother said, "Little Gerald, you lied to me." Ha ha ha. And then he got a big whooping because his bike got rusted, and it was a very expensive bike. So I don't need to explain it anymore, because that's basically what physical and chemical changes is. Now, if there was a chemical change and a physical is like, you crumble up a piece of paper. Is it still paper? Yes, but is this crumbled up? You burn paper. Is it still paper? No, that's a chemical change. If you cut paper, is it still paper? Yes, but it's just cut. So that's a physical. So here's a recap. You might want to write this down. Physical changes the stuff that is still the same, and it did not change it to a new chemical. And it still has the same molecules. So, when we talk about this, chemical changes is something that cannot be turned back into it. It stays the same, and it still has the same, and it does not have the same chemicals. So rust, you can't make rust. So you can't turn rust back into metal. It's rust now. So, as that is said, that is physical and chemical changes and how penicillin was discovered. I don't know when, but in a couple days, I don't know when, so don't expect any date soon, just wait till it gets uploaded. I'm going to show y'all how to play a trombone on this channel. So, without being said, I will see you Nyle citizens later, and please subscribe, and peace.